Good evening, good evening. We'll give it a few minutes for people to filter in. I don't think I've got it set up so I can see chat, so give me 1 second to fix that. Jaeger bomb. I could use a Jaeger bomb actually, dude. I deserve a Jaeger bomb. Winning my first ever GT, huh? I'm not a Jaeger bomb in a good few years. I thought I'd get these Outriders out. I mean, these are GT winning Outriders. How about that, eh? Who would have thought? I actually just threw them in my list for a bit of fun, to be completely honest with you. I didn't actually think they would survive. I thought I'll put them on my list, I'll play them a few times, and then I'll probably put them back into the pile of shame. But they survived. All the way to the GT. Took down everybody. All gamed out this week. Yeah, do you know what? Yes and no, Lamar is. I could have probably played tonight, but my wife had to give up like her whole weekend with the kids. She actually said to me, "Are you going out tonight?" And I was like, "No, I'm going to stay home and do bedtime and stuff," because, you know, my wife let me go away for the whole weekend to play Warhammer. I think it's fair that I do bedtimes and stuff for an extra couple of nights. So I decided to take a break this week. I think it's fair. I try and be fair with my wife so that she's... It can be hard with the young kids, so yeah, do you know what? Plus, yeah, I could have played. I kind of want to chill. Good evening, Phil. You get home safe and sound? You back to work or you got some time off? So Phil flew like 3,500 miles for a GT. What a superstar. Phil, if you come next year, come a day early and we'll go to a whiskey distillery or something like that. Or even if you can't manage next year, if you can manage in any of the future years, I guess, let me know. Come a day early and we'll hang out for the day. It was really cool to meet you. I mean, when someone tells you that they're coming from the other side of the world for a GT, like, it's a bit surreal, but you did it. You did it. I'm impressed. And Phil actually beat... Phil played really well. He finished 10th. He beat Andrew as well. I think Andrew was actually overconfident going into the game against you. He was like, "Oh, it's Blood Angels, that'll be easy." Blood Angels always end up beating Andrew, don't they? Oh, you brought your Star Wars decks, but we didn't have time. Yeah, I guess a bit of a whirlwind. It didn't help that I was really ill last week. So, yeah, that certainly didn't help. Which is actually kind of, like, it's actually a little bit surprising that I won the tournament, considering how ill I was. I think I usually paint a black left knee. Let me check. Ah, I just dropped them off. Please don't be broken. That's the one thing I do like about the plastic models. You drop them from like 6 feet and just... I was going to say, he's not chipped, is he? No, he's fine. Yeah, I do usually paint a black left knee. Okay. I'm just copying the scheme. It's been a long time actually since I painted some red guys. Which Blood Angels company is your favourite? It's a good question. I mean, my army lists are always mixed. You know that, man? Like a mix of shooting and a mix of melee. So I don't know if the lore necessarily reflects how I play Blood Angels, right? Because this weekend I ran shooting with Dante. I was so pleased to win a GT with Dante, though. Come on, no one, literally no one has won a GT with Dante in 10th edition. You know what, maybe somebody's done it. But no one for a while. Like, no one's been running Dante to win a GT. So I did it. Through my sheer stubbornness, I think. Probably stubbornness. I'm quite stubborn when I come to building army lists. Hello Frank, thank you so much for being a member for so long, for congratulations, I do appreciate it. Highland Phoenix, I just got live, just a few minutes ago, Highland Phoenix. I didn't actually share it on Facebook or anything like that, I probably should have. Sometimes I forget to do that shit. But yeah, I thought I'd just do a little bit of painting tonight, and I mean, the Outriders deserve a little bit more paint on them. These are GT winning Outriders. Who would have thought that, Highland Phoenix, huh? I mean, like I said, I literally put them into my list for a bit of fun because I hadn't played them for like, I'd owned these models for about 5 years, and I thought to myself, I just want to try them. I don't think they'll stay in the list, but I want to try them. So, hey, it's good to experiment. I tried to film a video last night about the GT. And it was supposed to just be like a list breakdown video, and it turned out that it's like 47 minutes long. So I've got that coming out on Friday. Just need to finish up editing it. I got mentioned by Auspex Tactics. I got mentioned by Tactical Tortoise. He covered me in his video today. And apparently I'm going to be in Goonhammer on Friday. Probably because, like I said, no one's winning tournaments with Dante except me. Except me. Hello, you Jenny. How are you? Just watched the Auspex Tactics recap on your list, John. The more I look at your list, the more I love it. Bikes like my 6th company list. I'm glad you love the list. The list did have weaknesses, right? Like, it did have some significant weaknesses. But I practiced it like for probably 3 months on stream, right? And I think I'd beaten I think the only army that I actually hadn't beaten was Miles's Grey Knights. I was a little bit worried about playing Grey Knights. Fortunately, I didn't have to end up playing against them. So I don't know if I beat Grey Knights. Maybe I'll be able to get that game on stream. But I played Grey Knights with my list maybe like a week or 2 weeks before the event. And I did lose to the Grey Knights. But I didn't read too much into it because it was one of those games that was on a knife edge. So I think like on another day I would have won the game anyway, so I fortunately didn't change my list, I just stuck with it. Outriders are so good when you look at points per wound. Yeah, I mean, I use them as durable scoring units. I literally use them almost like scouts, Drizzle. Because anytime I play scouts, I always end up getting them killed really fast, and I always feel like I waste my points and my scouts. And I do like playing more durable units, so the Outriders were my durable, fast-moving scouts. And they sure as hell worked for me. A lot of people killed them, but I feel like they scored me a lot of points. Jaegerbomb's painting jump intercessors. Yes, they're very useful as well. I feel like the jump intercessors in my list were very, very good, as so were the Outriders. And then I think I want to say that my tournament, maybe I need to make another video that's like tournament MVPs. I think my tournament MVP, because I'm gonna make a lot of videos about this win, probably like at least 5. I already made 2 that I need to edit, and I already put slides together for 2 more. Outrider stocks are going through the roof, aren't they? Hey, I am a meta defining now, apparently. Who would have thought? Outriders. What was it? Outriders, Impulsors. Company Heroes, any love for the Company Heroes? I really like them. Again, I don't think many Blood Angels players are using Company Heroes. I actually don't know anyone that's using Company Heroes except for me. But they're good. Hey, Akushla. I saw some of you guys tuned in to some of the streams on Saturdays and Sunday. Thanks for watching that. I think if we try and do that next year, we'll have to get like wireless microphones. I need to message like a big channel like Auspex, not Auspex, like Vanguard Tactics or someone, and find out what wireless microphones those guys use and see if I can buy some of them. Because we just use like this desk. We don't have wireless microphones for our battle reports. Even when they kill Outriders, it's a big expenditure. Yeah, I mean, the Toughness 5 is nice, that's for sure. It was very useful when I played Chaos Knights, I'll tell you that for nothing. Because Chaos Knights have all that indirect fire that's Strength 5. So, the Outriders were very, very useful against Chaos Knights. And I honestly thought that Chaos Knights, or Knights in general, were going to be one of my toughest matchups. Because my list doesn't really have a whole heap of anti-tank. I have a lot of anti-infantry, I have a ton of anti-elite, and then I have like a little smidge of anti-tank. Matt says, great win, Commander. Yeah, it was a great win. I'm very pleased about it. I'm going to break it all down. The video will come out on Friday, normal time, about lunchtime. But what a weight off the shoulders to finally win a 32-player GT, I swear to you. I've been trying to do that since probably before I had the channel, and the channel's turning 4 years old next month. I think the channel started on August the 1st, 2020. So the channel will be 4 years old next month. I've been trying to win the GT since before that, I think, so probably been trying to win a GT for like 5 years at this point. I think I'd almost resigned myself to the fact that I just wasn't going to do it. But it's done. Someone in Discord, James, was like, now you've won one, you'll win the next few without trying. I was like, yeah, that'll be the dream, man. All the pressure's off. Hey, if Blood Angels stay where they are in the meta right now, I could see it happening, because Blood Angels are very, very strong right now. And I didn't even play the meta stuff. Because I guess the meta pick is that Firstborn Death Company with the Rhino, right? And Lamarta is with the Death Company. So I don't play either of those. Omar, I run Company Hero Squad, and it was the first box my girlfriend got me getting back into the hobby, slowly introduced me to the plastic crack. Welcome back, Omar. The Company Heroes are good. I think they're a good squad. Charles says, congratulations. I've been watching your videos for a year or so, and it's great to see you hit your goal. I got back into the hobby after 20 years, and your videos have been really helpful. Well, I got back into the hobby after like 10, Charles, so I've been back 7 years. But yeah, it's super nice to have hit the goal. Foz! Congratulations on the GT win. The next step is to win a GT you didn't host. I think now that I've won one, Foz, I'll be able to be a lot more relaxed if I get to the top table again, right? So, I haven't really decided what GT I'm going to next. I haven't looked that far ahead, but I mean, I'll definitely be going to another GT at some point. And yeah, I think I'll be able to be a lot more relaxed, because the pressure of trying to win that first one, I definitely put, like, I actually made a huge mistake on the final table. Like, I tried, apparently, you know that new mission Sabotage, where you just sabotage like a piece of terrain and you get 3 points, or 6 points if you sabotage in the opponent's deployment zone. I completely forgot to do it in one of the turns, and it was like turn 3. It's like a super close game, and I just forgot to perform the action. I had loads of units left. I could have easily done it, but I didn't do it. So funnily, ironically, that mission's called Sabotage, and I really tried to sabotage my first GT win. Like, I tried so hard. Apparently, in the video that I share on Friday with the win, I'll show you the score sheet, and like, it's just like turn 3, you didn't do Sabotage, but you had all these units left on the board. Turn 4, you did Sabotage because you were like, please don't let me forget this again. So I tried really hard to sabotage my own GT win. I tried literally as hard as I could, because people told me I can't win my own tournament. Well, I friggin' tried to sabotage myself. But I didn't. What was nice, though, was the final 2 games of the tournament was... The final 2 games we streamed, which was Table 1, was my final 2 games, right? I was on Table 1 for Game 4 and 5. And if anyone's watched any of my games, you guys know how well I kind of pride myself on playing fairly and getting the rules right and that sort of stuff. I love playing against people that are like that. I think it makes it a better experience going to a tournament when you know the people you're playing against are just like fair players that do everything right. So we played the final 2 games on stream, and basically every game at that event was against a really, really good opponent who played really fairly. Like, there wasn't a single rules question. Do you know, there was one question with the Knights which we needed a bit of clarity from the other table, but once we'd sorted that out, it was like everything else was totally fine. So, it was good. It was great. And yeah, I think, I know that Brewhammer are doing like a 50-player Super Major later this year, so maybe I'll aim for that 50-player Super Major. We'll see. There might be some new Blood Angels and a new Codex by then, so that could switch up a few things, right? Yeah, congrats on the win, says Noble. Saw your list on Auspex Tactics, looking forward to seeing you win some more. Thanks, Noble. Yeah, it was pretty cool seeing the list on Auspex Tactics, right? I must admit. I have a more detailed breakdown of how I played the list and how, basically, I'll detail down every single game that I played. I took photos throughout the game, and then obviously the top 2 games were on the stream table so that I can take some photos from the live stream as well. So I'll break everything down so it's super clear and you can learn a couple of things, and if you want to run something similar or know how I played any of the units, it's all going to be coming in the next couple of weeks. Was sabotage successful or not? I sabotaged in turn 4 and it was successful. But by not doing it in turn 3, it essentially cost me 1 secondary in that game. At the top table in a super friggin' close game against Bully Boys Orcs. So I got a little bit lucky. That was like a get out of jail free card, Dr. Akushla, because like, if I'd lost that game by 1 or 2 points, I would have been so... I imagine, knowing my reaction when I've lost at the top table before, and like, I've made big mistakes at the top table before, right? Like, I've forgotten to charge a deep strike unit at the top table, because it's been like such a close game, and everything, you know, you're so focused on some part of the board that you need to control or win. Like, I brought in a squad of Terminators once at the top table. I just didn't charge with them. They just stood there like Muppets. And I was like, oh my god, I forgot to charge with my Terminators. What are you doing? You know, but you're tired when you get to game 5. That's definitely a thing. And also, you're nervous if you've never won an event before. So I feel like I need a little bit of luck, and I got a little bit of luck, because that would have really sucked to go away second place and been like, man, if I'd actually just performed the action, and I had units that could do it. Any tips for facing World Eaters? You charge them, don't let them charge you. I was gonna say, last edition, a little bit of shooting is super useful against World Eaters as well. I think I beat them this edition. I do think a little bit of shooting is useful against them, because they aren't really gonna shoot you. And the, what do you call them? The 8-born are an absolute monster unit, which will murder Blood Angels. So yeah, if I'm playing World Eaters, I'd probably like a little bit of shooting in my list. You could probably get away with... You probably want longer range shooting as well, because if you've got like a Land Raider or something, they're just going to eat it alive. So maybe like a Predator Destructor would be not too bad. I'm a big fan of Predator Destructors, obviously. They just won me a GT, so... Maybe the Predator Destructor is my favourite thing at the moment in 40k, I don't know. Crozier, thank you. I am so happy that I got the win, yeah. Yeah! The Death Company fight on death. I saw the Bully Boys list, even with the points nerf, that's still like the rude army to play at the top table. It was pretty rude, and it was played by a really strong player who I have played before and have never beaten before. He's actually been on the stream before with the Space Wolves, and he's beaten me on my own stream. So, yeah, I mean, it was literally a 1 point game. So I would have, like I said, I would have really been kicking myself if not doing that secondary, that one turn had swung in the game. I actually had quite a lot of board control at the end of the game though, right? Like I feel like I killed him really, really well. I actually kind of pinned his orcs in his deployment zone a little bit. And I think I played the game really, really well. His fight on death was really problematic for me, because it almost meant like I couldn't trade with any of my units. Whenever I trade, he's just gonna fight on death. So I gave him a bit of his own medicine. Like when he went after my death company, they fought on death. So I gave him a little bit of his own medicine back there. But yeah, it was. I must admit that was. I don't know if that was the toughest game. All 3 games were super tough, right? Like. The third game against the Votann was insanely tough. That game might have stressed me the most because that was against Gav, and if you've seen Gav on my stream, then Gav's been on my stream like 5 times. He's beaten me every single time. I've played Gav at the top table of events multiple times. He's beaten me every single time. Thanks for subscribing. Stalkin, I think. So yeah, the game against Votann was super stressful for me because in the last GT I was at, actually, Gav beat me as well on like table 2. So I was playing Gav again on table 2. It was like bad deja vu, and it came down to a dice roll in the final turn to win the match. Do you think small Outrider units could work in competitive? Well, I literally just won a GT with them, so I guess the answer is yes. I mean, can you even run them in units of bigger than 3? I don't know why you would want to run them in units of bigger than 3, because their bases are giant and they just get in each other's way. But yeah, you can make squads of 3 work 100% in competitive. I mean, my competitive list has 2 squads of 3 in them, and it just won a 32-player event. So yes. It's a shame the gladiators have weak/odd sponsons. Yeah, I mean, people still like gladiator lancers, don't get me wrong. I just prefer predator destructors. Plus they're more iconic, right? They're like the OG tank. They just look cooler as well, I think. Did the Sanguinary Guard work as expected? Yeah, they literally have paper armor, Tom. I expected them to come in and charge something, then die. That's pretty much what they did in every game. I think in most games, the second the enemy targeted the Sanguinary Guard, I lost like a horrific number of them. Like the second they get targeted, I would lose like 7 of them or something ridiculous. And at 31 points per model, it's so horrific to lose them. It's very, very quickly, it's like, okay, take 7 saves on Sanguinary Guard at -2, take 8 saves on Sanguinary Guard at -2. The second people target them, they just die. They're quite a difficult unit to use, I think. But I'd had a lot of practice with them, so I just rapid ingressed them in every single match. Like I had the game plan in my head before the event. I was just like, the Sanguinary Guard are going to rapid ingress every single turn. I'm going to try and bring them down 12.1 inches away. I'm going to jump close. I'm going to shoot 11 Infernal Pistols with +1 because of Dante, and then I'm going to charge. And that's what I did in every single game with them. So they usually did their damage output. They usually did a good bit of damage output, and then they just start dying like left, right, and centre, like they're going out of fashion. So the game plan, or the list, or however you want to call it, it really hinged on me placing those Sanguinary Guard in a position where I could get a lot of value with them. What would you replace them with? I mean, I guess Lamartus plus the 10 Death Company is the meta pick, right? And I think that's what most people are probably running for. Like, most people that are running meta Blood Angels armies are running Lamartus plus the 10 Death Company. But I wanted to play Sanguinary. I'm weird, man. You know, like, I don't like copying the meta. How many units did I run? I ran 2 units. Where can you see the list? The list will be up on the channel on Friday, as well as like a full breakdown of the event. You can probably see the list right now if you go over onto BCP and just look for the event, but on Friday I'll tell you exactly how I played the whole thing. Like I said, I made like a 48-minute video. I didn't expect it to be quite as long a video as it turned out to be, but yeah, it's a giant video where I talk about everything. So that'll be out on Friday. And then in the coming weeks I'll break down the individual battles and stuff like that. Would Vanguard Veterans be better than Sanguinary Guard? No, because I needed them to be a glass cannon unit, right? Like, I needed them to kill what they kill. So I really needed like a lot of damage, and I guess if you were fighting, like in the game against Votann, the second I target the Votann, they use the stratagem Void Armor, you know, so it's -1 to my AP. So if they were minusing 1 AP on those Vanguard Veterans, potentially giving them no AP, and potentially only being 1 damage, they would just bounce off the Votann Terminators pretty badly. So Vanguard Veterans wouldn't have been better in the context that I ran them in. I mean, they might have survived better, but I wasn't really expecting them to survive. I was expecting them to come in and deal with whatever target I needed them to deal with. For example, in one game they came in and killed a Stompa, in one game they came in and killed some Chaos Knights, in one game they came in and killed an Avatar of Cain. I was going to say Khorne. No, the Avatar's Eldar, it's Cain, isn't it? So it's like the Sanguinary Guard came in one game they went after like a group of Mega Nobs and another squad of Nobs, they multi-charged. So it was like they came in, they did a frick load of damage, and then they died gloriously. And the hope was that they would do enough damage to let me win the game. Phil was running Seth though, and he said that he found a newfound respect for Seth. He said that he did a ton of damage with Seth. And I suppose the one thing that Dante has that Lamartes doesn't have is like AP3, and the enemies have to potentially take Battle Shock, which can be kind of impactful at times. Did you feel like you needed lone operatives for the new missions? Probably not, but I had like 5 scoring units on my list. 2 units of Jump Intercessors, 2 units of Outriders, and units of Scouts. So I had quite a lot of units that were fast and could score. Did I have issues with Outriders pivoting? Most of the time I just tried not to pivot them. You don't have to pivot them to move around things, right? Feels like a lobby of winners here. Hello, Stephen. Yes. Tom said he literally cheered when I heard your list on Auspice. That's cool, Tom. Thank you. I was on Tactical Tortoise last night as well. I've been enjoying a 10-man brick with the captain. At the AOC Super Major, I went 4-4 with the Sanguinary Guard. They're still one of the MVP units. Yeah, they're very difficult to play, the Sanguinary Guard, because they die so friggin' fast. I don't know if you could... Like, I didn't feel confident in playing them with them ever starting on the table. I put them in reserve every game, I rapid ingress them every game. I don't think I ever... And every single time I rapid ingress them down, I think the worst rapid ingress I had, I lost 1 Sanguinary Guard, and I think it was to an explosion or something like that. Like, I really placed them defensively so that, like, basically I guaranteed their alpha strike. in every game, and I use them as... I mean, they get 57 attacks with Dante, right? You get 4 on the charge, you get 40 in Carmite Blades, you get 8 Power Fists, you get 9 of Dante's Strength 9 lethal hits shenanigans. So 57 attacks at 2 damage is a lot of damage, and that's before you factor in the fact that they can get 11 Infernal Pistol shots. And I actually rolled a bunch of 6s for Dante's Infernal Pistol this event. Normally when I'm playing Dante's Pistol, I go through like whole games, maybe even go like weeks without rolling 6s. I think I rolled sustained hits on Dante's Pistol. Like I said, I think the Dice Gods were maybe with me a little bit this weekend. I must have rolled sustained hits on Dante's Pistol at least like 5 times over the event. And when you get a couple of sustained from Dante, his pistol alone can do like 10 damage, right? So it's like the Sanguinary Guard, they have no survivability, but they do have, sure as hell, has a decent alpha strike. Would you go for, say, an Assassin over one Outrider? I don't think I need it. Highland Phoenix. I think the Outriders suit my playstyle more. I mean, an Assassin might work if you felt like you needed it, but I always seem to do best when I have durable units. Because I think, like in every single game I was behind in turn 5, right? Or most of the games I was behind on the final turn, but I was always able to swing the game back because I still had a lot of stuff on the board, right? Maybe the only game that wasn't true was the Votann game. I did not have a lot of stuff left against Votann. I think I had a Ballistus Dreadnought, 4 Infiltrators, Dante, and I think there was one other unit, like a Predator tank. Like, the Votann were very, very efficient. They're very, very killy. I struggled a lot against the Votann, but in all the other games I had quite a lot of board presence in the final turns. So I was able to score quite a lot of points. Evening, Michael. Evening, Marius. How you doing? You're the champion, Marius. Thanks so much for coming to the GT, by the way. It was great to meet you. Phil accosted me and was like, "Can I get a photo?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course, Phil. Let's take a photo." But you didn't accost me, Marius. I'm angry with you. Next time I see you, we're getting a photo together. I'm not that angry, but yeah. It would have been nice to have a photo of you as well. I wasn't thinking. It was a bit of a whirlwind of a weekend, right? I feel like I'm giving these Outriders their like lap of victory, like their victory coat of paint or something here. I don't know. How did I deal with the Hearthguard? I was almost holding my own until they arrived in the board, and then I went completely one-sided. Oh, hold on, because I was going to say gifted subs here for a second. 1 second.
I have awoken.
Highland Phoenix, thank you so much for gifting the memberships. It's a new month, so it's super cool to get some gifted subs and get the membership goal going for the new month. It's like the 2nd or something. Thank you so much. Awoken. If you just did get a gifted sub, remember that does get you access to our members only Discord room. All you gotta do is join the Blood Angels Commander Discord. Come hang out in the members room. I try and be in there most days. So even if I'm not live, you can catch me in the members room.
I have awoken.
There we go. 5 new memberships. Thank you so much for the gifted memberships. And 41 months of membership, dude. Thank you. That's...
I have awoken.
41 months, man. Sometimes I forget how long this channel's been going, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. 41 months. What a dedicated fan you are. Thanks, dude.
I have awoken.
Apparently, all the messages. There we go. Marius becoming a company veteran. Dude, thank you so much, Marius. It's very generous of you as well. Yeah, the Hearthguard, like, they're the Votann Terminators.
I have awoken.
Their firepower, Marius, and I didn't actually really know their firepower before this event, but like I said to you, when you play Gav, he is a very honest player. So he tells you, like, before you fight him, you know, like, he's really good like that. Like, some people will break down their list a little bit. Gav breaks everything down. He's like, you need to be aware that this one unit of Hearthguard are going to get, like, 1,000,000 plasma shots. And they're going to get 1,000,000 grenades. And I'm going to pay 1 CP to give them sustained hits too. And you're going to have a token on you because I'm Votann, so I'm going to be +1 to hit and +1 to wound. And it's like, and I didn't even know this actually until the game against Votann. He can put his tokens from the start of the game on your units in Deep Strike. So he actually put a token on my Sanguinary Guard, even though they were in Deep Strike. So the second they arrive on the board, he's +1 to hit and +1 to wound them. And yeah, so I was lucky in a way against the Votann because I went second. So because I went second, it meant that, like, he kind of had to bring his reserves in before me, right? And then I can rapid ingress to deal with them. So he brought 1 squad of Terminators in to, like, shore up one side of the board. I brought a small squad of Death Company in an obscured position and charged them from an obscured position because if I charged them... If he'd seen me, he would have overwatched me and he would have killed, like, a boatload of my Death Company. Like, maybe even killed, like, half the squad. So I charged his Votann from an obscured position, which I almost didn't do, because I almost was like, you know, like, I almost had the Black Rage and I wanted to get in range to use all my Melta Pistols. But I didn't. But because I went second, I was able to put both my I did my Death Company first, I did the Sanguinary Guard second, and I put them down, obscured from those Terminators, so I could basically do an Alpha Strike into those Terminators to deal with them, because I feel like I can't leave those Terminators on the board. Both times he played the stratagem that gives him -1 AP. So those Terminators are still super difficult to deal with, like 10 Terminators with a 2-up save, ignoring 1 AP. But yeah, I kind of feel like if I'd gone second against the Votann, I might have just lost because there was a 15-point swing in our final turn. Well, it was actually a 23-point swing in our final turn. So by going second, it meant I was able to react to all his moves. Whereas if I hadn't been able to react, like if I'd had to put my deep strikes down first, and then he could have known where they were and stayed away with them with his, because the shooting that comes out of that Terminator Votann unit is horrific. It's like the Apothecary, Biologist, Gladius, Task Force thing. It's as much shooting as that. It's absolutely horrific. And let's be fair, the rest of the Votann, like you said, you were maybe holding your own. The rest of the Votann list hits pretty friggin' hard as well, right? And then couple that with the fact that Gav is an amazing 40k player. I've played him like 10 times. That was the first time I've ever beaten him. I actually sent him a message after the game in the evening saying something like, "You are an amazing 40k player, thanks for the game." But it still did come down to the fact that I had to pass a battle shock in the final turn to win the game. If I failed the battle shock, it would have been a draw game at 60 points each. So I mean, take. I don't know what you say to that. I just say like, Votann strong, Gav strong. I'll break that match down. Unfortunately, that wasn't one of the ones that was played on the stream, but I did get like a bunch of pictures of the game and stuff, and games like that, when they're like super close like that, live pretty vividly in my memory, so I'll be able to break it all down and explain everything. So I'll work on getting that out like next week probably. But thanks so much for becoming a upgraded company member. They made my aggressors biologists feel like they had potato guns. I don't know if the aggressors ever feel like they have potato guns, man. But yeah, no, that Votann unit is definitely horrific. And he had two of them, right? He had one with Volkites and one with Plasmas, and they both have their own distinct strengths, I feel like. I think later in the game, after I dealt with them, he only had like a handful of them left, and he shot like, I think it might be my company heroes or something. He shot my company heroes, and they still did a horrific damage, and there was only like 3 or 4 of them left in the squad, and I was just like, oh my god, you still wiped the whole squad even though you only had like 3 guys left. Like, what is this? But I guess that's Votann. Russo's painting Orc motorcycles. We crush the Xenos in this channel, Russo, you know that, right? What role did the company heroes play? I mean, they played a defensive-ish role, but I mean, they still like. Basically, the way I see company heroes is they're the same as the Assault Intercessor squad, but a lot more tanky, right? Like, they do a little bit less damage than the Assault Intercessors, but they have more damage to attacks, and they're a lot more tanky because they got -1 to wound all the time, and they got a bit of shooting as well. I mean, Assault Intercessors don't have any shooting. They do dev wounds and shooting, and they've got a 3 damage sustained 2 heavy bolter, which is not nothing either. I use the company heroes a bit like a unit that could threaten out of the Impulsor, but if the Impulsor is blown up, they can also defend a bit. And because of the finest hour thing on the captain, they can go aggressive when needed. Here's the thing, right? Like, in the final game against the Bully Boy Orcs, he hadn't called his Wah in turn 2. I was playing so defensively. I went second against the Bully Boys. I'm probably quite happy I went second against the Bully Boys. So he kind of had to make the move, and because I'm very fast, I was kind of just sitting on a few objectives, scoring points and staying in the game. And I knew he was going to have to call the Wah, and he hadn't called the Wah. So I actually went aggressive with the company heroes in that game and came out of the Impulsor, charged into his Mega Knobs with the company heroes, like a whole squad of Mega Knobs, before the Wah turn. And what that meant was the Mega Knobs didn't have their 4-up Feel No Pain, or their 5-up Feel No Pain, I guess now, because they're not in the Wah. So, but my thought was, like, if that had been a squad of Assault Intercessors, the Mega Knobs probably turn around and kill the Assault Intercessors, right? Because Assault Intercessors are not very survivable against strength, I think it's strength 12 power claws that the Mega Knobs have. So the Assault if that was the squad of Assault Intercessors plus the captain, I'd probably lose all the Assault Intercessors. My thought was, like, I just need like 1 or 2 company heroes to stay alive here, and if they do stay alive, then basically what I've done is I've pinned his Mega Knobs in his deployment zone before he has had a chance to Wah, which means he either needs to fall back the Mega Knobs, which means he's not charging me next turn, right? Or he's having to fall them back and pay CP if he's got a fall back and charge strat. I'm not actually sure if Bully Boys have that. But my thought was, like, I'm going to pin his Mega Knobs, and I don't think his Mega Knobs will be able to kill the whole squad of company heroes if I use, like, my free Armor of Contempt on them because of the captain. And that's precisely what happened. Like, he killed... I think he killed 2 company heroes and took a couple of wounds off the 3rd one. But what it meant was his Mega Knobs... Then the company heroes actually killed 3 of the squad. There was a 6-man squad of Mega Knobs and a War Boss. Company heroes actually killed 3. He actually rolled well on his saves as well. I think statistically he should have probably killed 4. He saved a boatload of -2 damage against the company heroes. But what it meant was that the company heroes basically had tagged his Mega Knobs in his own deployment zone, and he wasn't able to, so he was either going to have to fall back. It's not ideal for his WA turn, for example, that his Mega Knobs are stuck in combat in his deployment zone, and the company heroes are going to survive, so he's going to have to charge them with like another unit or something like that. I'm using Evil Sun Scarlet for the red, it's not Corn Red. Corn Red's a good shade darker. So yeah, it was an interesting... I think the company heroes are quite versatile. I think there's a lot they can do for the points you pay for them. And again, I don't think many people are running them, so it was cool to be someone that's running... I like running different, unique stuff. I don't like just copying one meta. I think if when there's only one viable list for an army, I think the game is kind of boring. So, I really hate it, in fact, when there's only one viable list for an army. So I was really pleased that I was able to take home this win with loads of unorthodox units like Outriders and company heroes and stuff like that. Hello Ryan, yeah, I mean I've had like 100 new subscribers today. I guess because Auspex Tactics shouted out the channel. Everybody's coming over to... Have I tried it with the Lieutenant as well? I haven't. I mean, the Lieutenant might be useful, Kraken Shell, but I mean it comes down to points, right? Like I don't know if I would want to spend any more points on them, because I suppose the point was to have a durable unit that can do some damage for like 150 points, right? What does a Lieutenant give them? Like another Power Fist and fall back and charge? It's not bad, I just don't know if... I typically don't attach more than one character to a unit ever, I guess. I don't know if attaching 2 characters to a 4-man unit is the right call, right? Like, if you were going to attach 2 characters, I feel like I'd want a 10-man unit. Can I give a quick rundown on why they're better than Bladeguard veterans? I mean, they're just different, Marius, right? Hold on, I think that's my daughter awake. One second. No, I'm hearing things, I think. The End, good evening. I'm doing great, thanks. It gives them lethals and fallback and charge. I mean, the thing is, company heroes attached by a captain, man, get a free red rampage if you want them. So if you want lethals, you can get lethals for free. I hadn't considered running 3 Bladeguard, actually. It's kind of interesting you mentioned that, actually, because Bladeguard are 95 points for 3. Company heroes are 95 points for 3. I think... I am hearing a kid, one second. Yeah, I think the company heroes, I mean, they're a lot more OC, right? Like, it's 10 OC. The Bladeguard are like 4 OC if you add them to a captain. I think it was just because they're a little bit versatile, right? Like, they have a little bit of shooting, they have a little bit of melee. But I mean, I think I mainly chose them for the survivability, right? Like, it's 16 wounds. That's right, yeah, 16 wounds with -1 to wound. And then you can Armor of Contempt them for free. So I think that's really why I juked the company heroes, is 16 wounds, -1 to wound, 2 OC a model. Yes, they're not going to kill as much stuff as Bladeguard, but, like, I have plenty of other stuff that will kill stuff. Max asking, black shoulders for sergeants, but what's with lieutenants, captains, gold trim? I I don't know, man. If you're asking me, Matt, I just sometimes do, like, I do gold head sometimes. Like, look, this guy's got a gold head. I kind of just have some sort, like, here's a finished guy. And I kind of have some sort of logic behind it where, like, I do black shoulder. Apparently I do a black left shoulder and a black right knee. But I don't know if I necessarily, I guess I don't follow a specific company markings or whatnot. I just go with the flow. Have I played Horus Heresy? No. I don't have time, man. I got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. I can't even get my, can't even get all my 40k models painted. So, I just sort of don't, and I spend a lot of time making YouTube content every week. So the free time I have, I make YouTube content. So yeah, I'd love to play another game system. I have a few other game systems as well, but no, I never get around to playing them.
I have awoken.
Sound Muffin, thank you for subscribing. So, yeah, no, I haven't played Horus Heresy, and I guess I am not planning on it. Even though I have a lot of units now that have become legends and can only be played in Horus Heresy, I guess I'm not playing them. I guess I see the lack of a 4-up on the plus on the company heroes over the Bladeguard, and it gives me pause. Here's the thing though, they're 4 wounds a model, man. It can be it's quite a good break point, 4 wounds a model. Like, for example, I was fighting a game against Knights. Knights have autocannons that are 3 damage. Well, 3 damage is super inefficient if you're trying to kill 4 wound models, right? So, whereas like 3 damage is super efficient at killing Bladeguard, and -1 AP actually puts Bladeguard straight on their 4-up. So like every failed save against the autocannons is a dead Bladeguard. Whereas like every 2 failed saves against the autocannons is a dead company hero, and they would have -1 to wound the company heroes. So the autocannons, which are strength 9, which would normally wound on 2s, would wound on 3s. You'd be surprised at how impactful that -1 to wound all the time comes up. The amount of times I was fighting like orcs, and it's like, oh, my orcs have strength 12 power fists, I'm wounding you on 2s. I'm like, no you're not, you're wounding me on 3s. And then the guy goes and rolls like 4 1s and 4 2s, and all of a sudden I only have to take like 1 save. -1 to wound on the company heroes can be very impactful. Not always, but sometimes. But no, company heroes work really well in my list. I wouldn't change them for Bladeguard. What happens to the Sanguinary Guard when they succumb to the Black Rage? Well, they paint their armor black. Well, I guess they take their armor off, probably, because the Artificer armor probably stays with the Sanguinary Guards. They probably take their armor off, they get a new set of armor, and they paint it black, and then they join the Death Company, same as anyone else. And they shout Horus a lot, right? Yeah, hold on, Mario. I can get you the list. It's on Pastebin. One sec. Pastebin. Blood Angels. Here you go. Yeah, I just put the list in chat right now. We got 49 people on the live stream tonight. We only have 8 people that hit the like button. If you guys get 2 seconds in the next hour, because we're probably going to be live for another hour or so, if you could hit the like button, do the YouTube algorithm stuff, it always is super appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you don't press the like button, I'm going to send my tournament winning army list round to your local game store, and I'm going to stomp you with it. Joking. I did win 2 prizes actually, including the trophy. One of the prizes is these dice that have, like, look at this. They're pretty cool, right? Look, first place on the dice. So I'll be using these on stream, and if someone else asks me, like if Andrew Collins says, "Can I throw your dice?" I'll be like, "Did you guys win the GT? Can you throw these dice?" Oh, disgusting! That's perfect timing. Disgustingly Resilience in the chat to see me making fun of the Death Guard. Hello, Disgustingly Resilient. Did I miss something else? Probably. Funny thing is, I know how to draw a figure, but in black I can't. I don't know what you're saying. What, you know how to draw what? Hello Mac, how are you doing? Jason, nice to see you. Yeah, Jason, you're always a superstar, getting people to hit that like button. Thanks for your very positive comments this week on the Discord, Jason. I saw you were repping the Blood Angels Commander this week, so I really do appreciate it. But I must say that, like, I think that I didn't realize this. I was speaking to Auspex Tactics earlier today, yeah? I think it was, I emailed him yesterday and he emailed me back today. And he was saying there's few things people respect more in 40k than going 5-0 in a GT. And I think I have noticed that, like, a lot of people have just been so nice. It's been crazy how everybody has been so nice. After going 5-0, it's like, if I'd known how nice everybody... I mean, I wanted to do this for a while, but yeah, it's really just really nice how everybody has been so positive about it. Marius likes the dice. Yeah, I've never actually bought dice from the Baron of Dice before, so it's cool to get a set. I thought that the sets that they gave to second and third place were super cool as well, because they're like dice that can double as like wound counters, and also as like buff markers. So I might get round to ordering some of those for myself, because I thought those looked super cool. It was a bit weird to win the event, but then actually want the prize that second place got. But you know, because I already got plenty of like decent dice. But these are cool. I'm happy. So yeah, I think we're going to try and do the GT again next year, so hopefully we can get a bunch of people in for next year, because it was really fun. And I think even people that had like tough games or lost a few games still had a lot of fun. Like I think the general sportsmanship at the event was very, very good, and I like events like that, man. My game against Chaos Knights actually... Crispy Delicious says congratulations, thank you. Jim, thanks for the congratulations, nice to see you. My game against Chaos Knights, I actually owe the Chaos Knights player like a pint of beer, because what happened was the game's super close, as you would expect. Chaos Knights were kind of a nemesis of mine. I was going to really struggle dealing with Chaos Knights, and I charged them in the middle of the board with the Sanguinary Guard. And I was like humming and hawing. I was like, I've got 1 CP left. Should I use Red Rampage here? Because if I kill this knight, I can probably win the game. But then what will probably happen is like the Sanguinary Guard will take a bunch of fire and they'll die. So part of me is wanting to hang on to the CP to try and keep the Sanguinary Guard alive next turn. So I was like really on the fence. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to spend the stratagem. I just need a minute to think about it. And my opponent, Kenny, who I didn't realize at the time, but I spoke to him after the game, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've won multiple GTs." I was like, oh, "Okay, so he was who I was playing on the top table in game 4, and he's like won multiple events." He said to me, "I think you should play this stratagem," and I was like, you know, like normally you don't really want your opponent telling you whether or not to play your strats, because you want to figure out for yourself, and you know, like you don't want them to influence. Like they might be saying that to like troll you or something, make you spend the stratagem when you might want the CP later, right? And I was like, I'm not sure, Kenny, I really need to think about it for a minute. And he's like, trust me, if you kill this knight in the middle of the board, you know, you set yourself up for almost like like this is going to help you win the entire game if you kill this one knight here. Because you've already like at that point I think I'd already killed like 7 other knights or something. He's like, this is just going to cement your board control. It doesn't matter if you lose a few guys, because I will shoot them, but it doesn't matter if you lose that many. You'll still have enough surviving in the middle to hold the middle. That'll score you like, you know, the 10 or 15 primary points, and it'll probably win you the game. And I was like, alright, sure, you've convinced me. Let's spend the stratagem then for a Red Rampage. And we rolled it all out, and the knight literally died by one wound, and he was like, if you hadn't spent that stratagem on Red Rampage, my knight would have just slaughter clawed the crap out of you there, and you might not win this game. And I was like, what? Why'd you tell me to use the strat then? You literally sabotaged yourself. And he was like, and you said to me, you were on the fence about using it, and I think you would have been annoyed if you hadn't used it. So, yeah, the games were really, games of the GT were really friggin' close. Hello Mark, good evening. I find it interesting what Blood Angels Commander is painting right now off the back of some games or something that apparently took place. Yeah, I'm painting the Outriders because no one plays them, Mark. They don't get into anyone's armies lists. Everybody thinks they're garbage. But, you know, I thought I'd just paint some because I've had the models for so long. You know, something like that. That's what we're doing tonight. That seems fair, right? Everybody thinks Outriders are garbage. Q-Seth keeps losing to Chaos Knights. Dude, it's a tough matchup, man. And if you're playing a good player, it's a very tough matchup. Do you have any idea on getting your Death Company Dreadnought into the ideal charge position? Put them in reserve, man. I don't think you can really play Death Company Dreadnoughts not putting them into reserve. Like, I feel like they have to be in reserve. They're slow. Like, you literally say that in your message. FN Pog. They're slow. They're slow and you can't get them across the board. They're not that durable. You have to put them in reserve. What unit's a must-take for you against Chaos Knights? I mean, the best unit we have for killing Knights is probably Centurions, but I don't know if that's... I don't know if that's a must-take. I mean, the way I beat the Knights was... Well, I mean, I'll be making a video and all that, but the way I beat the Knights... You basically need to be able to... Like, turn 1, you gotta kill at least 1 or 2 Knights. Turn 2, you need to kill 1 or 2 Knights. And then turn 3, when you actually start making a bunch of charges, you need to be able to kill, like, 4 Knights in a turn. So you need 4 units that can kill a Knight in close combat, probably. On top of other units that are in the early game that will let you kill Knights. And that's pretty much how I beat the Knights. In turn 3, I think I charge 1 Knight with 1 Death Company, I charge another Knight with another Death Company, I Infernal Pistoled the crap out of 1 Knight with like 11 Sanguinary Guard, and then I charged another Knight with that same 11 Sanguinary Guard. So I think in turn 3, I think I killed 4 Knights. I maybe even killed 5 because I still had my 2 Predators, so the Predators might have shot like a 5th Knight off the table. So you need to be in situation against Knights where you can take out multiple Knights a turn. Would you want to come on a podcast episode for the Disgustingly Resilient podcast? I mean, I could. I don't know. If we talk too much about Death Guard, I'd be a bit clueless. But we could do a podcast episode. As a fellow one-trick faction person, I think it would be great about having a chat about one army player and see how we approach the game. We could do it. I'm playing... I asked... I don't know if Colin replied yet, but I asked him earlier today if we could play in like a couple of weeks. And I kind of want to play his GT list. Because I think I would have actually kind of struggled against his GT list. Because Colin took like 15 Death Shroud Terminators. I think he had a couple of Annihilators. He might have had a Land Raider. He might have had a couple of Plague Burst Crawlers. So maybe I can get the game in against Colin. And then maybe we could do it Disgustingly Resilient. I think it could be fun. I will get more subscribers this week, Highland Phoenix. The video on Auspex Tactics is got, like, I had, like, I think like I made 100 subscribers since like yesterday afternoon. Normally I make like 10 a day. So yeah, getting covered by all the big places. And everybody was very generous, like Auspex Tactics put a link to my channel in his video description. Tactical Tortoise put a link to my channel in his video description. I didn't realise Tactical Tortoise had got so big. I was watching him when he was like 10,000 subscribers. The guy's got like 61,000 now. So he's exploded. Good for him. and he was very kind about my list as well. He was a little bit surprised with Outriders. He actually got their profile wrong when he was talking about them, because he was like, oh, they're pretty good with 3 wounds. I was like, I actually had like a hot minute where I was like, oh my god, I've just played the whole event with Outriders and I've told all my opponents that they've got 4 wounds. So I was like looking up the codex, panicking, like I better not have played this whole event giving my Outriders an extra wound. But no, he actually got it wrong on his video. He said Outriders are good. He said Outriders are good when they only had 3 wounds. I was like, they got 4. I actually messaged it, put a comment on his video afterwards after I double checked. I was like, no dude, they got 4 wounds. If you think they're good with 3 wounds, then you need to be playing them because they got 4. The final that never happened. Yeah, I really actually kind of wish that I played Colin on the final, but I think that's the best. I think that's the best result Colin's had at a GT for a while, because he usually makes a mistake in like game 1 or 2. So the fact that he went, 3-0 was very good. He was very pleased about that, and he only lost to Garen. He only lost to the Bully Boy Orcs by 1 point. And Garen said he had to do a battle shot test in the final turn, and if he'd failed the battle shot test, Colin would have beaten him. So basically, a single battle shot test prevented Colin from fighting on the top table. And what's funny is a single battle shot test let me beat the Votann. So small margins, man. When you get to the top of 40k, small margins. They literally couldn't have been smaller. Have I seen the new UKTC terrain maps? I haven't, but I have heard that they're supposed to be very good for Blood Angels, because a lot of places are reporting that Blood Angels are like super A tier at the moment, or S tier rather. Like Blood Angels are apparently very, very strong right now. So yeah, it was good. I was going to say, normally when I go to event, when I've been to an event, Blood Angels are like a 45% army. Apparently this is the time where they were the 55% army, so thank god I won it. Because it'll probably be like 2 years before we get back to being a 55% army again, right? Something like that, anyway. How many points do you have an orc? Nothing. I gave all my orcs away. I actually traded them all for more Blood Angels. I play against Brett on the stream, and Brett used to play Blood Angels, I used to play Orc. We literally traded. I gave him every single Orc model I have, he gave me every single spare Marine he has. So we both gave up our pile of shames for armies we don't play, and gave each other a bigger pile of shame for the armies we do play. Colin does have a lot of practice in on the Death Guard. Yeah, that I suppose that would be fair. He's been mono faction for like a few years at this point, actually. I think I went to a team tournament with Colin in, I think it was right after COVID ended, so it must have been like 2021. So I think Colin must have been mono faction for like a mono faction player for 3 years now as well. So it would make sense he gets to some top tables with a Death Guard if he's always just playing Death Guard, right? I was really pleased for him. I really kind of hoped that he would go 4-0, just because I don't think he's ever done it. I didn't think it would be like, if I got to play Colin at the top table, I didn't think it was like a sure thing. I actually thought I might struggle against his list, because he's got all that anti-infantry and he's got 15 Death Shroud, and my army really doesn't like that. So it wasn't like I was hoping you would get there so I would have an easy matchup. I actually think it might, like, I think if he'd come to the final, I think I might have lost. But I guess we'll find out in like 2 weeks' time, right? Like, I asked him if I can play his GT list on stream. I can't play next week because I got the kids out of town for a couple of days. But so hopefully the week after that, maybe we'll get Colin's Death Guard on the channel, and it'll be like the GT final that never was. A starters party's on the beach in Mexico. Enjoy, dude. You should be enjoying the beach, not watching Warhammer streams, man. But I suppose if Warhammer streams are your thing, knock yourself out, eh? Hope the weather's good in Mexico. I imagine it is. It's probably roasting. I appreciate it, dude. Ryan, you legend. Here's the Gabriel Seth super chat. Oh, I promised Ryan that I was gonna play Gabriel Seth on the screen. Okay, what we're gonna do then, Ryan? We're gonna do one game with my current list against Colin's list. So it's like the final that never was. If Colin had beaten Garen, and I got to the final. But so if Colin had beaten Garen, because Colin lost by 1 point. So we'll do the fake final, and then I promise you, I will. The next stream that I'm doing, I will get some paint on my Gabriel Seth model. How about I'll take him out. I'm trying to think where the frick he is. Do you know what?
I have awoken.
I will take out my Gabriel Seth model. A final send-off is right. Yeah, I imagine that before the next tournament I'm going to, the list will have to change from points changes or something like that. Do you know what I was thinking though? I don't know if you guys remember, some of you might remember, when I first started doing YouTube, like I guess 3-4 years ago now, I built a list. I think it was right at the start of 9th edition. It was when the Sanguinary Priest could resurrect the bikes, and it was super powerful. And I built this list, and I never got to take it to the GT. But that list, never got to take it to any GT. That list was like one of the strongest lists I ever built, right? Like it just won and won and won and won. And it was where the joke came from with the channel, where like I had a win streak of like 20 something games on the channel. So I only play one game a week. So I guess I built this list, and it must have been either during I think it was actually probably during COVID, when there was no events going on. And I built this list that I'd won like 20 games in a row, and it was such a great list. And I honestly hadn't thought about that list for like 3 or 4 years until I won that tournament, and then I was like, oh yeah, I remember I built a list like this before that just beat everybody, but I never got to take it to an event. So I guess I'm really happy that I got to take this list to an event, because this list was something that I built, like, you know, that no one else was running, I guess. Did I tell my mum that it was an Auspex Tactics? No, but I did send a photo of her. I did send a photo to her of me holding my first place trophy. Russo, thanks for dropping by. It was a list with the chapter master with the bike with 1 wound. You're right, Highland Phoenix. That was a great list. But it's funny that I remembered that I was just like, oh yeah, I built a list like this before once that no one could beat. I just never got to take it to a tournament. So I feel really happy I got to do it this time round. And it's nice to have some bikes back in the list as well, right? Because like Blood Angels were all about bikes, and then bikes, I guess, disappeared from the meta. So nice to have some bikes going on. Yeah, I did spend a lot of time making this list, you're right. I think I must have practiced it like close to 10 times, maybe. Because I think I beat Andrew's Eldari a few times. I feel like I beat the Orcs. I feel like I beat the World Eaters. I feel like I definitely beat Death Guard. I actually don't know how many times I practiced it, but I feel like it's been a while. At least like 2 months, right? But I think it proves as well that if you're willing to practice a list, you don't have to just only take the meta choices. If you put the practice in, you can make other choices work. Maybe not in like a 50-player super major, but maybe if you're like a smaller local event. What are you trying to buy? Tom? What are you buying? I thought I might buy a knight now. Because I've never owned a knight. Like a big knight, like a Castellan or a Valiant or something. Thought I might buy a knight and buy one of those upgrade kits. I did win a voucher to spend on Warhammer at the event. So I thought it might be the time to finally add a knight to my Blood Angels. Like, I mean, I had a super heavy tank before, right? But they legends that, whereas like, I guess they don't really legends the knights. So it could be a cool time to finally add re-add a super heavy tank to my army. Maybe, or a super heavy unit. Canis Rex? I did think about Canis Rex, but I think it might be better to be a generic one, I don't know. People do love Canis Rex though, right? Is he miles better than the other ones? Good to see you, by the way, Campbell. A Warhound, no, that's a Titan, that's not a Knight, right? Canis is way ahead. Is he that good, huh? Save the voucher for the Blood Angels releases in September. There's been so many rumors about the Blood Angels releases, hasn't there? I mean, yeah, it's probably a good idea to just wait, and if there is no Blood Angel, like if all the rumors from Valrak are lies, then we could just buy the Knight. I feel like for now anyway, I'm gonna paint my Outriders for a bit. Obviously the other squad of 3 aren't fully finished either. I'm also gonna paint my company heroes for a bit as well, because I think those two units are both super cool. I'm probably gonna keep running both, like for the foreseeable future at least. So it would make sense to paint them, right? Buy Canis Rex that has all the other bits plus the magnets. Oh, interesting. Oh, excuse me. I have heard the rumours that Sanguinary Guard are going to be in smaller squads. If they are in smaller squads, then I guess it would be very fitting to have won the GT with them with the 10-man when no one else... I might be the last ever person to win a GT with 10 Sanguinary Guard. Because no one's running 10-man squads with them except me, right? No one's that crazy. I think, anyway. I really don't think you can play the Sanguinary Guard any other way than strategic reserve all 10 of them and come in and make the Alpha Strike, because they just die, man. I think in Auspec's Tactics video, he said, like, oh, it's interesting to see the Sanguinary Guard, they're a bit survivable. I was like, dude, they are not, like, that's the one thing he said I disagreed with. I was like, they are not survivable in any way, shape, or form. They just die like crazy. And they're so expensive when they die. But if you get the alpha strike out of them, they get so many attacks and so many melta pistols that they just make up with it. If the Sanguinary Guard gets smaller squads, should they get an invulnerable save? Please, because it really sucks that they don't have an invulnerable save. I mean, I've kind of thought they always should have had a 5-up invulnerable save anyway, because of they're wearing Artificer armor, and Artificer armor usually means 2-up, 5-up, right? I'd like to play Blood Angels. I was hoping it would be Sanguinius, but he's been out of stock for so long. So why not buy Dante, Marius? Dante's pretty cool to paint. He's not going to get Legends anytime soon because he's Firstborn, right? So, sorry, he's not Firstborn, that's what I'm trying to say. The new Dante model is pretty sick. Seen some amazing paint jobs of the new Dante model. Games Workshop had like an article on their website where like they had loads of like pro painters paint the new Dante, and it looked super good. I've seen your painting as well, Marius. Your painting's top notch, so I think you would enjoy painting Dante probably. I think they'll go like jump, like Bladeguard. Evening, Mike, how are you? Yeah, I mean, I think if they go to 3-man squads, they'll go something like Bladeguard. Who knows? We may end up having to play Blood Angels quite differently to what we play them right now. I guess we'll see. They do seem like a faction that Games Workshop struggle to balance, right? We're either really poor, or like this weekend at this event, or in the start of Pariah Nexus, we're either really poor or we're really strong. It feels like there's not much in between. Because when we only had +1 strength from the Sons of Sanguinius detachment, we were garbage, but when you make it +2 strength, we're actually really quite good. So it's like, they're trying to make these super small tweaks, but apparently they just can't get it quite right. Frank is getting the Outriders out of the pile of shame. There we go. Look, I'm actually doing Games Workshop a favour here. I'm making everybody buy some Outriders, or I think if you're running Scouts, Frank, and you're struggling to make the Scouts impactful, it's 15 points more for Outriders. That's how I see them. Outriders are going to do more killing than your Scouts. They're going to move faster than your Scouts. They're going to be more survivable than the Scouts. Yes, they're 15 points more, but I mean, it's 15 points more for what? 1 more OC, 1 more toughness, and 2 more wounds. And potentially an 18-inch auto move, which is pretty useful. Like, I drew engage on all fronts a couple of times at this event, so Outriders are very useful for engaging all fronts. Plus, they're cheap enough where if the enemy decide to target them down and they all die, it's really not the end of the world. Something to consider anyway. I'm glad they did well. I literally put the Outriders in the list to start with, almost like fully expecting to put them in the list and play them for like 2 weeks and be like, yeah, Outriders don't work for me. And you know what's funny is the first game I actually played with Outriders, I don't know if you guys remember this, but the first game I played with Outriders, I played them against Eldari, and I played them on stream. And in that game, Andrew was playing Eldari. He went so aggressive, he actually killed 5 of the 6 Outriders in turn 1. So like all I had left to try and use was one single Outrider. So I very easily could have been like, okay, Outriders suck, they just all died in turn 1. But I stuck with them. I gave them another couple of weeks and thought to myself, let's actually give them a game or two where they actually don't all just instantly get killed. Let's see what they can do. Highland Phoenix needs to get a bunch of Outrider bases. Have you seen the Primaris Lieutenant? Oh, have you seen Primaris Lamartes? No, I've not seen Primaris Lamartes. I don't think that exists yet. Might be coming, but I don't think it exists yet. You run 2 squads of Outriders in your Gladius detachment. They did work. Yeah, I mean, I guess they're better for Blood Angels, but yeah, I don't dislike them in Gladius either. I think there's something to be said about, like, not every unit needs to be judged purely on how much it can kill. You know, because if you judge everything on how much it could kill, then you would probably never run Sanguinary Guard over Death Company. You would probably never run Company Heroes over Assault Intercessors. You know, like, a bunch of the picks on my list were picks based on these guys do a job in the list. They do a bit of killing, but they might not be the most efficient at killing, but that doesn't have to be the end-all and be-all, right? Tessa says he remembers that. I slated the Outriders pretty hard after that game. Well, thank God I gave them another few shots, eh? Because I never dreamed that I would win a GT with 2 units of Outriders. But out of all the lists I've ever taken to a GT, this is probably one of the most unique in terms of, like, I built it myself from scratch, right? Like, other GTs where I've gone 4-0, I've very much been, like, focused on, like, meta picks. Or at least I've had a good number of the meta stuff kicking around, right? So it was pretty cool to sort of do it uniquely, I guess, for lack of a better word, I guess. Good evening, Trivial Pursuit. Yeah, understanding what units the job does is what makes your list tick. Yeah, and I don't know if you were here at the very start, Jason, but I was working on the video last night to break down my list to explain how I played everything. And I've got like a 48-minute long video that I just need to finish up. That'll be coming out on Friday. Might be a couple of minutes shorter when I edit it. But, like, there's I guess it wasn't intended to be 48 minutes, but when you start talking about everything and you know the list really well and stuff, that's what it's come out as. So I've got a giant tactics video coming out on Friday, and I've got a couple other videos where I'm going to break down some of the games as well. I've got that coming too. I was working on one of them before I went live, actually. So you mentioned Auspex Tactics today. Yeah, I was on Tactical Toys too, yeah, but it was very cool to be on Auspex Tactics. The guy that I played in the top table, his Bully Boys list was on Auspex Tactics as well, by the way. That should be a fun game to be able to break down. So I'll be working on that like in the next week or so. Yeah, I really like the company heroes, man. I think it's just the fact that they get the free stratagem on them that makes it so good. Because it gives them like a lot of flexibility. Because it means they can go damage wise, or they can go like uber survivability wise. And I think it's good having units that can basically do a punch or survive a punch, right? Like, it's all well having units that will do a punch, but sometimes you do need units that will survive a punch. And I think that's what I think that's what I thought the company heroes gave me, right? Like, it's like, so let's say my opponent goes super hard on my impulsor and kills it early. I feel like I felt like in a few games, even if they kill the impulsor, I'm probably in a good shape, because there's no way they can kill the company heroes as well as the impulsor, right? Like, if the company heroes spill out the impulsor, you'll have wasted so much energy and firepower to kill the impulsor. With the -1 damage and the potential free armor of contempt, I just felt like the company heroes were always going to be like, well, they're still going to be around in my turn, potentially spill onto an objective, which I can then control anyway and stuff like that, right? Company heroes are on the same size bases as heavy intercessors, so I think it's 40mm bases. Hello Pana, how are you doing? Is it the same as the Sternguard? Sternguard might be on 32s, I don't run any Sternguard, but it's 40s for the company heroes. You can convert them, though. I converted, like, my company heroes squad was the champion, the Bladeguard champion, whatever he's called, the limited edition one, and then I used 2 heavy intercessors, one with a bolter, one with a heavy bolter, and then I used a Terminator with a banner. So my company heroes squad was like a bespoke company heroes squad, but they were all in the right size base. I did put them all in 40s. Sternguard are 32, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, Sternguard may be slightly smaller than the company heroes. I didn't really realise, I think I knew before the event, but I didn't really realise that, because I think when I'd used company heroes before the event, usually a couple of them died before they got in combat. But the fact that every guy gets 5 attacks base is pretty good. Because I feel like even though they had no AP, for example, like the 3 guys with no AP, they still killed a Mega Knob. Just because they had so many attacks and lethal hits and lands. So even with no AP and Mega Knob saving on 2s, it's still enough weight of attacks to kill a Mega Knob. Cannon apparently scratched the paint of a Leman Russ with 6 Eradicators. I think possibly if you're using Eradicators and you're not in the Gladius detachment pana, you probably want to add the... What's the flying thing that gives +1 to wound against vehicles? It's called the Storm Speeder. Thunderstrike, that's the one. Storm Speeder Thunderstrike. Yeah, the company heroes are literally heroes. Yeah. Because here's like, most people were doing like the Captain plus Assault Intercessors in the Impulsor. And I tried Mephiston plus the Assault Intercessors in the Impulsor. But I had problems with Mephiston this edition. I just really didn't like his damage output, and that he was like... Well, he's D3, isn't he? So he's like all over the shop, right? Like there's no reliability in his damage. So because of that, I was like, I don't like Mephiston, but that's what the points I had. Because Mephiston, I think, is 100 points. And the company, the Assault Intercessors were 75, so it was like 175 points. Which is the exact same points as the company heroes and the Captain. And I just thought the company heroes and the Captain, having played them a few times, were just so much better than Mephiston. Which is sad, because I love Mephiston. I think he's got a very cool Primaris model, but I guess the heroes plus the Captain are just better. Their reliability is better, their survivability is better, their range damage is better, like everything about them is better. And here's the thing, I did actually roll 666 with that We Are the Champions by Queen not playing in the background. You know, it's a long time since I've listened to We Are the Champions by Queen, but yeah, it could be playing. If it didn't get copyrighted striked, it should be playing. I did roll 666 for that company hero squad on the heavy bolter, which sustain 2 means that you get 9 damage 3 heavy bolter shots. It's pretty good. Doesn't happen often, but it did happen. Did I say damage 2? It's damage 3. Sorry, it's a mastercrafted heavy bolter. Strength 5, -1, damage 3. 9 shots. I think if I played We Are the Champions, it would remind me of the Rocky movies, right? Proper 80s vibes. I'm probably going to be here for like another 10 minutes, guys. I'm obviously tired because I'm not speaking as much now, so I got work in the morning. If you've got any final questions, you can ask them. If not, then obviously there will be a tactics video on Friday. It will break down everything about the GT, or it won't break down everything. It'll break down a lot of the top level strategy. And then in the future, in the next couple of weeks, I'll have like a lot of little videos about breaking down each game, how I beat each army, what I learned, what I deployed. Because I feel like my deploying and that was pretty on point this event, so I'll try and share a bunch of stuff about like deploying and the maps and the placements and stuff like that as well, right? You're welcome, Jason. It's probably not going to be family time. I'm probably going to go to sleep. It's almost 11 o'clock here at night. My wife's hobbying downstairs, just a different hobby from us guys up here, I guess. Trying not to get sunburned. Yes, I'm only going away in Scotland, man. The chances of sunburn are literally nothing. It's actually been really crap weather here in Scotland these last few weeks, like really wet. The last few days have been really cold as well, so we're not having a very good summer yet here in Scotland. We're having cold and we're having wet. Yeah, it was freezing today, man. I had to take an umbrella with me to work as well. I feel like I'm out of practice with painting. I made an awful lot of mistakes painting that black there. Lot to tidy up. Jason, was it you that were telling me to watch Fallout, by the way? Who was it that was in chat that was like, you need to watch Fallout? I feel like it was you, Jason, but maybe it was someone else. 33 degrees, Frank. Where the hell are you, Frank? We can swap. It was like 10 degrees here today. Good evening, Ardeen. How you doing? I'm not going to be here too much longer tonight, Ardeen. I've been streaming for a couple hours. We've just been chatting about the GT win, questions about models. A lot of people wanted to say congratulations. A lot of people saw me today on Auspex Tactics, which is very cool. Apparently I'm going to be in Goonhammer on Friday. So yeah, I'm in California, 15 minutes away from Disneyland. Oh, you make me jealous, man. California Disneyland is Los Angeles, right? I've never been to California Disneyland. I tell you, I just watched this TV show like last week, called Dark Matter. It's like this show about like multiple parallel universes or whatnot. It was like a horror sort of thing. If you see that pop up on any of your streaming platforms, you should watch it. I thought it was pretty great. Anaheim, that's it. Well, enjoy the 33 degrees, man. Sounds very nice. Stay hydrated, though. Seems like at the moment you can't turn on the news without hearing about someone dying from heat stroke somewhere at the moment. This summer has been brutal for people getting killed by dehydration and stuff like that. Post GT John, would you change anything in your list? Didn't hear what you said before. That's such a hard question, you know, like... So last night I was sat making my list... last night I was sat making the video, or making the slides for the video to go out about like the list and the tournament and stuff like that. And what's funny is while I was sat making my video on the list, the guy who I played on the top table, who came second, was like sending me his new list. You know, because like, I guess after you've played at the top table a couple of times, you kind of become friends, and obviously he'd beaten me at the top table before. I'd had him on my stream. So I was kind of sat there like just chilling, you know, like just making a video about the games, not really worrying, you know, like, because I don't need to change my list, right? Because if it, like you said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm just chilling, quite content, quite happy. And Garen started texting me his new list, or Facebook message, or whatever you call it. So he's like sending me his new list, saying like, oh, I don't know how well you know this list, but what do you think? And you know, in a way it was kind of funny, because I was like, that would have been me, right? Like if I'd lost on the top table, I would have built myself like 5 new lists already, and I would be... I've got so much work to do on these Outriders, by the way. But I would have already built like 5 lists, right? And I would be changing things and I'd be tweaking things. But here's the thing, I do also think that like when you win, you do become a bit complacent, right? Because like you win, so you're like, oh, everything's rosy. I can do no wrong. My list is perfect. I don't need to worry. You know, so I guess it's an interesting dilemma. I guess for now, I'm just gonna tell you guys how I played the list, what I did, how I won, what was good, what was bad, and yeah, maybe I'll change something. But like, I guess the priority of wanting to change a list, or the need to change the list right now, is not there. I'm trying to think, like, if I do run that Seth list that Ryan really wants me to run, I'd have to lose the Sanguinary Guard probably, which means I'd probably have to drastically change things. Dante plus the Sanguinary Guard are such like a pincer, right? Like they just pinch in almost, and pick up 2 of your opponent's most obnoxious units. You know, 11 Infernal Pistols into 1 unit, charge the other unit. And obviously I managed to make that work really, really effectively. And I knew that's how I had to play them. I'm done painting for now. Eyes are tired. I got a little bit done. Outriders did deserve a little bit more colour though. I mean, if you win a GT, you deserve a little bit more paint on you than 3 colours, don't you? So yeah, I guess I'm not at the point yet, Highland Phoenix, where I can figure out what needs to change. Or maybe I'm not even at the point of... there's a trophy. Yeah. Can change the colour of it. Where's red? God damn it. There we go. Oh, alright. The full breakdown of the list will be out Friday. We'll try and do some breakdowns of the other games. They'll be coming as well. Thanks for hanging out tonight, guys. Please leave a like if you get 2 seconds before you leave the stream. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the gifted memberships. Thanks for the upgraded memberships. I do really appreciate you guys. I honestly don't think I'd have wanted GT without you guys as well, because I just think that the community that we have is very uplifting's not the word I'm looking for. It is and it isn't, right? Like, the community that we have around the channel is very nurturing. Maybe that's not the right word either. But like, you know, when people have questions in Discord and stuff, hey, you know, like, I'm sure I actually asked a couple of people, like, hey, do you think this is a good unit in this list? And the night before the day 2 where I had to play Chaos Knights, supportive, yeah, that's the word, that's the perfect word. So I had to play Chaos Knights. I knew I was going to play Chaos Knights the first game of day 2, and I was worried about it because I don't play Chaos Knights a lot. The last time I played Chaos Knights at an event, I lost to them, you know, and it was, I mean, it was a, yeah, I mean, I guess I just lost to them. So I came into the Discord and said, like, you know, I'm playing Chaos Knights tomorrow and I'm worried about my list because I don't think I have enough strength 10 or more to deal with Chaos Knights. You know, like, my list has lots of chainswords in it. I don't think that's going to work. And I think it was QWERTY in Discord straight away is like, oh, I play Chaos Knights all the time, John, and I think your list can beat them, and I think you could do this, and I think you could do that. And it's like, I went from probably going into day 2 in like a negative mind state, negative headspace, I don't know, a negative attitude. You can tell I'm tired, I can't even think of words. I went into day 2 going from like, this is going to be something I'm going into thinking quite negative, like it's going to be super hard to get to 4-0. And I went into it where I was like, I think, based on what he said and based on just a few sentences written in Discord, if I do this, I can get the upper hand and I can put pressure on him and I can potentially win this game. And yeah, so you know, just little things like that. So I try and do the same, you know, like when people ask questions on the Blood Angels Reddit, or when people ask questions in Discord, I always try and say, like, well, you could do this. Try and be supportive, encouraging. Yeah, it's great. It's great. It really can change your mindset. And like I said, when I was playing against Gav in game 3, and I've never beaten Gav before, again, I think in Discord people are shouting, like, I think Island Phoenix, you might have been one of the ones, you're like, you can do it, you can beat Gav. And like, when you've got someone supporting you like that, you just think like, yeah, maybe I can do it, maybe I can beat this, maybe I can win this game. So I gotta thank you guys as well. So the video will be out Friday. Yeah, exactly, Highland Phoenix is like, score and deny. Have a great night, guys. Thanks for hanging out. So video will be out Friday. I think I'll probably be live for some painting on Saturday night. And I'll probably do the army list show on Sunday, because I know I've not done it for a few weeks. I was unwell. So I guess if you have an army list, I'm trying to think, I'm sure, I guess there was no point exchanges, but if you've got an army list you're desperate to get reviewed on Sunday, submit it to the channel sometime this week, and we'll see what we get to. Alright, see you guys Friday. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.